Oh, that was a nice sound. Hello, God. Are you kidding me? What the heck was that?
What was that?
A morning noise.
Oh, gotcha.
That was awful. Gosh, I love it. I love these wonderful close mics that pick up every last dang thing that comes off your body. And it's morning, and it feels like a Monday.
Yeah.
It feels like a Monday. I don't like it. I don't like it. Feels like a Monday. But guess what? He's here.
Yeah.
My co-host.
Yeah.
Who is has been in a secret location for about a week.
I have been, yes.
Say hello to Sean Hannity.
Hi, I'm Sean. I know a lot of stuff is going on down at Fox News. I just want you to know that even though Roger Ailes is no longer with us, the party still goes on. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, I went on a deep spiritual hunt. I went on a deep spiritual hunt, and I had to go off into the wilderness for a week to find my spirit name.
Oh, yeah.
And it came to me last night around midnight my time, right?
Yeah.
I'm out in the woods, right? Owls are hooting, hoot, 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 you know, and it's all quiet. And then the wind brought me my name. Ready for this? It brought me my name. It said, Covfefe.
Ah, Covfefe.
So my new spirit name is Covfefe, and I think that is Viking for sneezing lutefisk.
Ah,
yeah.
You, sir, are neither Covfefe or Sean Hannity.
No,
you are Jason Allen.
That is me. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, the last day in May before we start a beautiful, beautiful June. Hello.
Actually, Covfefe is Norwegian for makes a weird noise with his stomach before he goes live.
Right.
Well, the jokes will be flying today. But I did want to ask you if you were Sean Hannity.
Yes, yes.
And I'd been saving this. See, I got organized. Things were going actually pretty well this morning, right? Smooth. I'm not talking much.
Yeah, everything's
I'm mumbling, doing the TCP/IP and the OS stuff, and that's SDIH and hi, Jason. Anyway, and then I made that really embarrassing noise.
We can reenact that if you want.
No, I really don't. If there's one thing I can't stand, is body noises. It's really something. If you want to creep me out, And the thing.
See, now that I know. Anyway.
And the thing is and I try to like manage it myself because I know like when you're on a mic, and what's really funny is when you listen to like a professionally produced show, unlike this one. No, you watch like something on NBC or whatever.
Sure.
I've literally one time I literally heard someone toot on Meet the Press.
I don't doubt that.
It was it was. It would have been better if it would have been like because Meet the Press is one of the longest running television shows, right? It
is.
I mean, you go back and there's like Kennedy and people on there. It would have been funnier if it would have been from the 50s. It's like,
right.
Senator Kennedy, what do you think about, because they used to sit at a desk at a round table and interrogate, if you look at the old Meet the Press.
This house of un-American activities that's going on, what do you think of McCarthy? I think he has gone a little too far.
I know, right? It's like... I don't even remember the name of the hosts back in those days.
I don't either.
But they were just old curmudgeonly men.
They were. That's what they did. And they always chain smoked, right? Mm-hmm. And you never knew. They may have a martini, off to the side.
Jason.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you about the reboot of the show. We got the ashtray right here.
Nice.
And this, beautiful in color, will be black and white. And
but with all the
you do have a suit and a tie, don't you?
I do, but with all the cool tech that's going on here, can you imagine just like smoke? It's like fog, and we're just chain smoking.
Look at me. Now I'm trying to grab some coffee because I literally do drink coffee. That's why things are going well. Anyway, but body sounds. Yeah. And the thing is in a studio like this with these incredibly sensitive mics.
Oh yeah.
And I've podcasts. I have done this for actually quite some time, on and off.
This isn't your first trip to the rodeo.
No, you know that.
Yeah.
I mean, going back almost 10 years.
There you go. Yeah.
Right? And Actually, yeah, 10 years, 2007, right?
Yeah.
10 years. 10 years in podcasting. Meet the press.
I'll be your sound Foley guy in the background, you know.
But literally, because I hear everything. So
yes.
Usually you have some guest on and they're hungry or whatever, and you're there, and it's like, well, what do you think about, and you just hear this in the cans, as we call them, the headphones, and you're just like, oh, there's nothing. If you don't like body sounds to begin with,
right.
There's no special joy than being an audio engineer and listening to people's body sounds as you go.
With these real dynamic mics, right? I mean, there's no room to hide. You can't. There's no, you're across the room.
Yeah. Welcome to Podcasting 101 with Doc Normal.
That's right.
Today's subject: body noise. Oh man!
I think we just found a title for today's episode.
Yeah, I like
body
it.
Noise.
Well, we got it.
We're lucky Buddha didn't show up today. He is a human. He's a human body noise beatbox.
No.
He's coming Monday, by the way.
No, with the body noises. I mean, and this can get into a very uncomfortable discussion, but then we won't go there. Okay, but anyway. Meanwhile,
we
at
could
Fox
if you
News,
want 503-395.
No. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh, it is hot. Okay.
Okay, good.
That's on. So that's good. Got it on.
Folks, the NuzBox news hotline 503-395-5040. Look on the bottom third down there, and it's right there for you.
I have this. We didn't do this one, did we? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Hang on here.
Okay. I'll just make random body noises while you're doing that.
No. God. This one? There.
Oh, look at that.
We didn't throw that one.
So call us now.
On Friday.
503-395-5040.
We did get a call.
Yeah, give us a call. Why not?
It wasn't hot.
Right.
So
that reminds me of something. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, your pet peeve is body noises. Okay, folks, if you have any pet peeves, something that just gets to you, right?
One of many.
It's a list.
Yeah.
It's a comprehensive list. Give us a call 503-395-5040. Tell us where your pet peeve is. What sort of body noise offends you the most? Is it stomach gurgle?
Oh, God.
Or is it the leaning over one cheek pad?
This is getting into the scraping the nails on the thing for me.
Okay, we'll move on.
And here's the weird thing.
Yeah,
I think tooting.
Yeah,
I'm okay with. It's the gurgling food noises that, I mean, it's real Alien Covenant stuff. You're just like, oh, jeez, what's going to pop out of there?
Right, you're expecting something to come popping out. Yeah. Oh, darn it, if I didn't wear white today, it's gonna leave a mark.
That's exactly what I think about when I hear people making noises like, you got something in there? Do I need to run, away with my,
Oh, it's all that Baba Hanoush I had earlier, man. It's that curry. It's repeating.
Well, let's be honest. I mean,
let's be honest.
That scene in Alien, the chest bursting scene, which happens at dinner time.
Yeah.
Is one of the most horrific scenes ever put to film, and because it preys on your, like me, like you're sitting at dinner and you're sitting next to people. Okay, you're sitting next to people, and they're eating. And the noises they make when they eat. And you know what I mean?
Right.
And you're just like, get out of here.
Oh, I'm a loud eater, too. I got to say that. I got to throw that out there. My wife is always like, do you have to eat so loud? And I'm just like snarfing.
So I may or may not have grown up around Germans.
Yeah. Teutonically speaking.
We'll just leave it there. Yeah. We'll just leave it right there. No, it's like I'm just going to say this right here.
Yeah.
And if you're German and you're offended, Fight me. Come on.
Right.
Let's bring it, okay? In now, I think there's two Germanys. There's the old Germany.
Yes. Like old Prussian Germany, sort
old
of.
Germany.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
We know where that led to. And then there's like new Germany, like millennial Germany, who are like,
we're talking Kaiser versus Merkel.
Yeah, whatever. You know the ones, oh yeah, Donald Trump, no. Angela Merkel, yes. Not no, they don't even like Merkel. I mean, they're like socialists and stuff,
Yeah.
So I think they're cool. They're eating sushi, all
They're
the
doing
modern
their thing.
things that everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, but when you grow up around the old, like Germans treat eating as a full contact sport.
Yeah.
Knife and fork in there. And you know what German food looks like.
Oh, yeah. It's a combination of bratwurst and strudel.
Well, meat and potatoes.
Right.
Which is a whole other thing.
Well, if anything is designed to give you body noises, it's meat and potatoes.
That's right. Meat and potatoes.
Right.
You say potato, I say potato. Potato, potato. Look at those tiny potatoes. Anyway, meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
And kraut.
Sauerkraut.
Cabbage,
yeah,
cabbage,
pickled cabbage. Yeah,
right?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Only to be rivaled by like Hungarians or something with their borscht, right?
Or the Slavic sort of Eastern, let's have borscht. You will eat the rye bread.
I actually like, and that actually, believe it or not, can be on the vegan table. Probiotic and all that stuff.
Sure.
The sauerkrauts, the kimchi is like the Asian version. All that stuff. You bury your vegetables.
So as a vegan, right? As a vegan, where do you come down on the sauerkraut? Are you pro kraut?
Oh no, I do.
Kraut. Are you pro kraut?
Obviously, with my comments, I'm not pro kraut. No, yeah, yes, I am. I like sauerkraut.
Gotcha.
I've made it before with our friend Eddie, and it's really good, fresh.
Oh, I bet.
Well, one day I'll show you the Frauenfelder video. Frauenfelder, he's
sounds like Zabruder film.
He's the founder of Boing Boing. One of the founders of Boing Boing.
Gotcha.
I've met him a couple times. He's one of those. He's one of the original maker guys. Like in this video, Frauenfelder, he gets the gallon thing and he's smashing down and really all you do is you cabbage, salt, I think, in a sealed up thing with an airlock, and then you put it away into like cold, dark area for weeks, and then you bring it out and
gotcha. There it is.
It's easy. It's like fermentation and that sort of thing. But in this video, Frauenfelder is doing this, and then he's making a skateboard out of like an old tennis racket or something and a guitar. And it's like, I'm making an electric guitar out of an old cigar box. I mean, this is what he does. He's Boing Boing, Make magazine. He's that kind of a guy. But he's like MacGyver. And when you watch his stuff, you're like, dude. You just want to come home one day and go, just go to Costco and buy something pre-made. You don't need to make it. But it's a whole maker lifestyle thing. It's very cool, actually. I admire those people. But I also just got to go, I think I'm just going to go to Guitar Center and pick up one of those $100 Chinese guitars down there.
$100 Chinese guitars. Yeah.
Don't need to smoke a box of stogies so I can make my own guitar, Anyway, but so Germans full contact sport.
Germans full contact sport.
Yes, some of that stuff is vegan.
Yeah.
The Gemüse. But then you have the meat and the potatoes.
Yeah.
And lots of butter and all that. And it's two hands.
Oh yeah.
Like when you go, like I spent some time in Europe working and things like that, and the first thing is like, two hands, knife and fork.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of the old way we used to eat too.
Yeah.
And that's the continental way. But then we went to this thing where, you were taught, put your hand down, like literally your hand, put it down there, pick up this, pick up that, which is highly inefficient.
It is.
Who knows? I don't know. Table manners. Do we even have table manners today?
Americans?
No.
No.
Do you go up on the internet? Do you Google table manners? I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
Interesting.
Like, think about it.
I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
You're Googling table manners and digestive noises.
Right. If anyone looked at my Google search history or whatever it is, that is one eclectic list, right? There's going to be table manners, Ethel Merman. Let's see, what else?
I was taking a sip of coffee when you said that. That was funny.
Yeah. I do. Have you ever just got those things in your head, right? I mean, just out of the blue, and you say to yourself, wow, I got to look that up, right? And it's just totally so strange. If someone looked at you while you're doing that, you're like, what?
Is it?
Yeah, it's like Soul Train and Sam Kinison, and then we'll throw in hot cross buns.
Oh. So one day you were just thinking, I wonder what Ethel Merman's table manners were like.
Right, yeah.
Cool.
Right. And I was on this kick because Ethel, she when she became really big, of course she was in her 40s. I mean, you always I'm girl, right? Whatever your sound was.
Star.
I've gotta be me. But I was like, man, I bet you she was hot when she was young. I'm gonna look her up young pictures. And she wasn't bad.
Old
Ethel.
Yeah. No, we remember. I think we curmudgeon us. We remember her as an old kind of star, maybe on the Merv Griffin show.
40s and 50s. Yeah. I've gotta be me.
Yeah, and she's an old lady and all that. And there were other stars like that all the time that would come on, and they'd be old people.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh.
Because you weren't hitting Merv. You weren't hitting Merv in your prime.
No.
When you did the Mike Douglas and the Merv Griffin.
You take that back.
Nah, take it.
Devo.
Ooh.
Ice-T.
What? No.
Oh yeah. Google Ice-T on Merv Griffin.
Oh, you're blowing my mind now.
Oh yeah. No.
How did that work out? He must have looked at them like they were aliens or something.
It was.
He didn't book that. It was some intern that booked that.
Well, no, he had incredible booking. I mean, Devo, all that, they were just like,
wow.
Merv would just sit back and go, I love these guys. I love Ice-T. I love...
He's got lounge slippers in his 70s.
It's on there. And I think they even have a channel. I think a Merv Griffin channel. But
really?
What I was going to say is when you, these older stars that you would see, like Orson Welles, okay? Let's talk about dudes, right?
Orson Welles.
Come in pushing 350 or something.
When he was in his Mr. Coffee days, you will buy, or Ernest and Julio Gallo sell no wine.
We will sell no wine.
Time.
Right.
Why? Because I've drunk it all.
But the thing is that when you look back at their prime, and their movies and their pictures when they were starting out, they're knockout, they all look great,
I was like, Ethel, you're a dish.
Yeah,
man.
No. I think I specifically. So, and I've done that too, where it's like, oh, and then you see the old pictures and you go, wow, because they were dancers, singers.
Wow, what happened?
They probably didn't even get 3 meals a day. I mean, because
back in the day, man,
being a hoofer back in the day, some kid hoofer.
Yeah.
This is before social services. This is like, hey, you got a dime? I'll give you a dance.
You got to sing for your supper, man. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Hey, we got a show in here. We need some dancers. I can dance. I got my tap shoes.
Oh, yeah. And when you hear old stories like Jack Benny and Fred Allen, on the old vaudeville circuit, it was a dog-eat-dog sort of make nothing and live out of your suitcase. And so, there ain't no 3 meals going on there. You're lucky probably if you got one.
That was actually one of my Google searches because last year was the anniversary, 100, I want to say, the anniversary of the, I can't remember the movie. It's a classic sci-fi, classic silent film by Buster Keaton that was filmed down in Oregon. It involves a train race.
Yes.
Literally locomotives racing. And it was filmed down in Central Oregon.
It wasn't the Great Train Robbery, was it?
No, I was going to say that. Remember, it's about the Civil War takes place. It's Buster Keaton. It's amazing, the stunts. I mean, it was like the pinnacle of his career. And I remember doing a bunch of Googling about Buster Keaton's life, and it was just amazing. He was a kid star with his parents. He was vaudevillian with his parents, and he did. His whole slapstick act came about because one of their comedy routines was domestic violence abuse.
Oh, jeez.
Because that's funny in vaudeville in 1920 12 or something. I mean, it's like,
Watch me as I smack the wife around. That's not funny.
As a kid, he's the kid getting thrown across the stage by his dad. I'm not joking. And you're like, oh, okay. And even at that time, whatever it was, 19, whatever.
Yeah.
Even at one point, when they'd visit cities, a few people were like, you need to tone that down a little bit.
Right, yeah.
I mean, if you're in kind of a turn-of-the-century act and you're doing slapstick comedy violence and they tell you to tone it down a little bit, because maybe throwing the kid across the stage is... Like, the audience would think that the dad actually was mad and threw him across the... I'm reading this going, are you kidding me?
Right,
It's just insane. But that's kind of how
I'm not quitting till he boomerangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was some Google thing that we did.
Right. Hey, you want to know of another cool anniversary this week? 50 years marks Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I am actually very glad that was on my pick list, because we talked about, was it a week ago, we talked about Jimi Hendrix and Are You Experienced, his first album, which is 50 years old. Look, we're like 67. Think of all the stuff that dropped in 67.
Mm-hmm.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Summer of Love, you got Dr. Pepper, you got Dr. Pepper, you got Sgt. Pepper, you got Jimi Hendrix. 67, I think, is also the first, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 67 was the first Doors album.
Yeah, you might be right. I'd have to look that up. There's a site, I think you can do this on Wikipedia, where you can actually search a date and then go, what are all the hit songs, what are the hit movies and everything. We should do that. 67 is gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing about Sgt. Pepper's. In fact, I just was up on Amazon. We're gonna have some pop filters in here by Friday. That will be nice. Speaking of noise, see, that would actually help with the burps and the... It's grossing me out. So, I don't know. I don't have a story here, and I don't know his first name.
Yeah.
But you're gonna order the 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper's remixed.
Yeah, they have an anniversary edition. Yeah.
Remixed anniversary edition.
Yeah.
And this was I might have saved it. This was on NPR. George Martin.
Okay.
Was the producer.
Right.
For the Beatles.
Yes.
Sir George Martin. I don't believe he's with us anymore. I think
George he passed away, I think.
Fairly recently.
I think it was just like 1 or 2 years ago. It's actually someone,
Yeah, fairly recently. Yeah. So he, Sir George Martin, mixed, I think he did other Beatle albums too. Wasn't he like Abbey Road and all that stuff?
I think he's also a Revolver.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, Abbey Road, is that where they did, that's the actual studio where they did it?
Yep.
Because that studio's still there. Just like I think Electric Ladyland might...
Electric Ladyland's still there.
Okay.
In New York City.
The record plant, too? I don't know. See,
I don't know.
People can correct us.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're remixing the 50th, and people say... they've done this with other things. They've done this with Miles Davis and all that. And you're like, oh, I don't know. You're remixing, you're repainting Picasso. You're refilming a Psycho.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a good look, Gus Van Sant.
Right.
I love your other movies, though. Anyway, and so... Why are they remixing this iconic record that's known for its mix?
Yeah.
And that's the first thing everyone says. It's like, how do you remix Sgt. Pepper's, man? Here's the deal.
All right.
In an interview with George Martin's son, who is responsible for the remix, he's doing the remix. Apparently, he's an audio producer guy himself now.
Wow,
Sir George Martin's son. First, he said they went in the vaults. And his dad had like meticulous notes, like you go back to the original source tapes, and they're all organized and noted and stuff. That's really important if you're going to remix, because half the time they remix an album and it's like Jimi Hendrix is a classic example. They're like, what the hell is this tape? In fact, I think they just found something of Hendrix that they didn't know. Someone found a tape somewhere, a real tape, and it was like, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This is Jimi Hendrix. Nobody knows that this exists, and people are like, well, maybe we should do something with it. But he went to the vault, got all the tapes, and he said, basically in 1967, stereo was brand new. And if you can think, you go back.
High fidelity.
High fidelity. Well, high fidelity was not necessarily stereo.
Right.
And everyone was still, the majority of the audience out there who were buying records were still listening to records in mono on their little consoles or their little portables. They were all in mono. And in fact, I think I still have some old records around here that are like high fidelity and they're mono. I think it's got an Elvis record that's in mono.
Ooh.
Like you just bought it, but I bought it like in the 70s. It's like, wow, mono, that's really weird. So the main mix in 1967 that you would do in the studio was in mono. And what he said is weeks they sat, George Martin, the Beatles, they sat meticulously mixing Sgt. Pepper in mono.
Yeah.
Okay? 2 days after they were done with the mono mix, they did a stereo mix master. Really? And it was a 2-day job. So basically, according to George Martin's son,
Steve.
I can look him up. I got the NPR article. I can look it up. But according to his son, the stereo mix was like a quick afterthought.
Wow.
And the amazing thing is, Sgt. Pepper, and that time period, it was just right on that convergence period where most people, what do they know? They know the stereophonic version of Sgt. Pepper's. That's what you know. And I remember you listening to this like, oh, the trumpets just are really right over there in the right speaker.
Right.
High trumpets, it's very,
Yeah.
And then right after that, at the same time, you remember they got into quadraphonic. And I have heard, well, I actually have a thing that can do quadraphonic, but I have heard that one of the best things you can ever do is get an old quadraphonic kit, find an old tape or quadraphonic record, and you have to have a special pickup, and put on, the Doors did a quadraphonic mix of one or two of their albums, and I've heard that it is an experience. And if you think of the Doors music, it's like you got 4 speakers, surround sound Doors.
Yeah.
Somebody should do
Riders
that.
on the Storm.
Well, somebody should do that in surround sound, because you can basically take the quadraphonic. That's basically what surround sound is today. Now nobody cares. People have surround sound. You have the doubly.
Dark Side of the Moon in quadraphonic.
That might still exist. It might exist, because I think quadraphonic was still around until like the mid-70s.
Yeah.
That thing that people can't see, that big beast right there, that's a quadraphonic receiver.
There you go.
From mid-70s,
Excellent.
But anyway, so the whole thing was that stereo mix.
Yeah.
That's the experience that everyone knows is Sgt. Pepper's was a crap job, just spit out quickly. And so the son wanted to go back and do the stereo mix justice, and as an homage to his father.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing. And then of course they went back to the original source tapes that were made of the isolated tracks.
Yeah.
And of course now you just digitize, once you get the tape, hopefully it's in good condition. I think the Beatles catalog it's vaulted, and how they're stored. But you go back and you do that, and then you get the digital copy, and then away you go.
Bam.
You get your Pro Tools and your Ableton or whatever you use. Maybe GarageBand. Maybe he's just maybe the son's just like, I got GarageBand on my Mac. I'll just mix Sgt. Pepper's.
Sure.
A little what's the name of the open source program that I've got here? The Audacity. Just
there
a little Audacity.
Yeah, I'm just running through,
I just took the original pristine tracks that they recorded and turned them into 128K MP3s to mix. We're cool.
Yeah,
So anyway, but they used to have That's the other thing.
Okay.
They used to when automation and digital came in, it was hugely revolutionary to music. Because before that, you had analog tape, and you had to do analog tape management.
Right.
And the problem is that you don't want to record the tape. Okay, there's the performance. There's the original tape. Right? Well, you don't want to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with that tape while you're trying to figure out your mix. Right. So you'd make a dub copy, get all your stuff figured out there, and then mix with the original. They did this with film as well, right? Okay. You do a copy of a copy and then try to transfer that edit back to the original. You don't want to waste the original because you'll destroy. Each time you're playing it, it destroys the tape.
Yeah.
Anyway, so welcome to audio podcasting, a history of tape. One of these days I'll do it.
The history of tape.
And George Martin's son.
Yeah.
Who, like I said, I have to look up the Bob. I don't know. Mike. I don't know.
Steve Martin.
He was saying that back then too in '67 they didn't have any automation. So it was all literally hands-on, meticulous notes, running through the songs, 10 people on those boards. And they didn't have those faders like we have here, the little slider. Oh, yeah. They were all dials. Like if you look up pictures of the board they use like for Sgt. Pepper, they were custom built.
Wow.
It was all custom built. It wasn't like, go to Guitar Center and go get a audio mixer board for the band. Okay.
Sure.
We'll get this Behringer here, this Yamaha. That didn't exist back then. You had, if you went into a studio, everything was pretty much custom built. At least the boards, because they were like, hey, we need more channels, we need more mics.
Gotcha.
And so we need to mix more. So they had like these little dials on them. It's crazy. In fact, they were selling a famous. I brought this up that they were selling a famous mixing console. It was the mixing console where they mixed Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon.
Wow.
Is on auction for sale.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and that's cool. Keep those things around. That's history,
Oh, yeah.
But so that's the story behind the re-release of Sgt. Pepper.
Interesting, yeah.
But I had no idea that and when they said this in the article, like the light went off and I said, of course. Stereo was brand new. Yeah. It wasn't, people weren't running around with stereo hi-fis, headphones, and doing all that. That was happening at 1967. And it takes time to get that rolled out to the people.
State of the art, yeah.
Yeah. Color television has been around a lot longer than it was adopted in... by consumers. For example, when you watch old TV programs... like from even the 60s, like the first season of Gilligan's Island or something. It's in black and white.
Right.
Reason it's in black and white, they still broadcast it in color. They just didn't have the videotape technology to capture it in color yet.
Right.
So the tapes ended up in black and white. It doesn't matter so much because 90% of the people out there in the world
still had black and white.
Had black and white TVs until the 70s.
Right. Gotcha.
Welcome to Curmudgeon with Technology History Lesson. Anyway, my favorite album from '67 is?
Okay.
I don't know if it was '67, but from that time period.
Okay.
The Jungle Book.
Oh,
a great album.
That was what's his name?
Yeah, that guy.
He was like the band guy from Jack Benny. He was married to Alice Faye.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah. It was very jazzy. That's probably
Phil Harris.
Probably why I like jazz.
That's right.
Phil
Harris, yeah. Bare necessity.
Yeah. I like that. I have a funny, I found when I was a little tyke, you know how you have a great grandparents?
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't get pop culture at all.
Yeah.
And so the awesome thing, you always have, or an old aunt or something.
Sure.
And you always have a person in your family that gives a totally age inappropriate, off the wall gift to a kid.
Yeah.
and every Christmas it's always like, wonder what I can't wait. Like everyone's like, oh, we're opening Aunt present, and everyone runs in to go see what it is.
It's like on the Christmas Story, Ralphie with the bunny suit.
Yes. Yeah. But it's just like some bizarre off the wall thing. And I had a couple aunts and I had great grandparents. Mm-hmm. So I had a record player. It was a little tight because that was a big thing. Mono, not stereo.
Yeah.
And back in the day when you'd get a record, that was the only way. We didn't even have tapes yet.
No,
cassettes.
No, it was all LPs.
And so
or 45s or even 78s.
Yeah, and hence the Disney bare necessities, age appropriate.
Sure.
So my great grandmother got me a record. I think it was just one. And I, to this day, was trying to find this record, and I found it online, and it is so amazing. Mm. It's basically a psychedelic record from the late 60s, and it's called The Crystal Blue Persuasion.
Yes! Yeah. Crystal Blue Persuasion.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like something like The Doors or whatever, but it's not even that. No. This was a supermarket knockoff album. Kind of, yeah, from a guy who did like all the easy listening. Yeah. He was the producer was the easy listening kingpin.
Yeah.
And his whole company was record things there at the cashier's thing that when you go through and make the impulse buy. Well, I think I'll get this. And he did all the easy listening stuff. And then when the 60s came and the Doors and the Jefferson Airplane and the Sgt. Pepper's, the Beatles and all that, he capitalized on this and made like these crappy little studio rock and roll records.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Kind of Pat Boone did, huh?
Yeah, I downloaded some of it, but I've been meaning to do, like, if I ever blog again, this is one of I've got the photographs of the record, and then it was like, because you have this fever dream from your childhood, because when you're a kid, you just don't remember stuff, and I can't remember that I poured coffee in here. Yeah. But these things pop in your head. It's like, was there like a TV show or a what was that? Yeah. And now with the magic of the internet, you can just go find this stuff. But I freaked out. I was working on editing a project. Yeah. Our friend Betty was there because we were working on a project, and literally I took a break and started going, what was that? Because she's like in the used record. Yeah. Collecting vintage, and I was like, there was this record, and I found it, and I was like, oh my god, look at this crazy thing that had a blue label, and I can find
almost K-Tel, right?
Oh yes. Yeah. This is like almost pre-K-Tel, and then you have K-Tel.
That's great.
We were actually sourcing and trying to find those records, those K-Tels. I was basically trying to find like the handful of records I had from childhood, which included K-Tel.
Yeah.
Hits and Music Power, and man, those were so. You look back and they're so good. My first 45, Terry Jacks,
Seasons in the Sun.
Yeah,
we had Seasons in the Sun. Terry Jacks. Oh,
my girlfriend liked it. I had girlfriends.
Yeah,
when I was pretty young.
Wow, that is so 70s. Terry Jacks.
Yeah.
To me, whenever I think of the 70s, I always remember the Orleans. Still the one. That was just
Anyway,
that's my.
Yeah, what was your first record?
My first record was as a wee lad. I went out and bought in the summer of Actually, it was March.
Summer '69.
That's right. That's right.
Seeger.
Oh, it was Bryan Adams.
Right? Bryan Adams. Thank you.
No, mine was Kiss Love Gun, 1977.
Oh, of course it was.
I was what, 8 years old or whatever.
Such a Kiss head.
I am. I was a big Kiss fan, man. Still am, And Kiss Love Gun.
That was the first record that you went out as a what would we say? Ascendant music love, because at some point, right? It starts. Music comes to you when you're a little kid. You're a little tyke. I always say little tyke, that kind of toddler, preschool, kindergarten, maybe first grade, you start getting out of the little tyke. But your first musical stuff is what your parents are listening to.
Yeah, but
your family.
Even at that young, I was a music snob. Even at that young, because this true story, by the way, true story alert. One of my older brothers and his friend, out of all the concerts that come to Portland, what do they go see? They go see the Village People. And even when I was that young, you went and saw the Village People? How? No, they were good, man. They had this backup band that was really good. And I'm like, you would? I said, I guarantee you, in 3 years down the line, you were going to catch so much crap in retrospect. Right. You went and saw the Village People.
Well, yeah, but
that was big at that time, right? I mean, they were like at one
huge.
Point YMCA and stuff. Yeah, they were like the biggest thing going almost. At least in the disco.
In the Navy. Speaking
Sail
of which,
the Seven Seas.
Fleet Week is back in Portland, as far as we know. That'll be interesting. Well, okay, so I don't. Yeah. But now, see. It's like the Bee Gees. It's like, okay, the disco thing. Yeah, I was a rocker from the rocker old school, and so we had these things, and I think they even made T-shirts. Disco sucks.
Yes.
So it was the disco sucks.
Death before disco.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. And so so it was like not cool. But now 2017, the Village People, they're classic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're classic. You can't beat that.
But I was like, liking Kiss. I was a rocker, so disco. Like, disco.
You couldn't like, you didn't like gay men who dressed up as different characters. You liked straight men who dressed up as kabuki characters.
I was so right. Yeah, go figure, dude. I was so oblivious at that age. I didn't know that the Village People guys were gay. I had no comprehension that they were gay. Like to a 7-8-year-old, just guys that dressed up as construction workers and the Indian. And then I should have known the biker dude. Come on, man. Yeah. But I had no idea. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. They all dressed up as a different person. You had a cop, a sailor, an Indian, all that stuff. But but when you think about it, I like the guys in the band that wore 7-inch leather heels.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
wore kabuki makeup. But back then, no, it was cool.
Yeah. Well, that was the silliness of it. Although I think with the Village, the disco scene was very... well, it was universal. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the things that I recall with disco that rock maybe kind of ushered in, but disco really put the nail on it, was, LGBTQ rights, that sort of thing.
The Stonewall riots and stuff like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, the disco scene, the Studio 54, the New York, kind of an outgrowth of maybe like the Andy Warhol, the Factory, Velvet Underground, David Bowie, that sort of thing, kind of the...
androgynous.
Yeah.
Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah. So, it made the world a better, safer place. Sure. So that's good.
Going back even further, the very first song I remember really hearing and saying, wow, that kind of blows my mind, is, back then, I mean, it was before FM, it's AM, clock radio, whatever, AM. And I remember hearing the Everly Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, wow, those guys, even as a little kid, the harmony and everything, it's like, wow, that's great. The Everly Brothers. I still remember that to this day.
The ones I remember, so as a kid, it was classical music, because that's kind of what the family was into.
My mom, too. She was huge classical music.
Specifically, Bach was one of the first influences.
Yeah, my mom was a Beethoven chick.
Oh, Beethoven.
She liked Beethoven.
That's good stuff. You can ride with that.
Yeah, but it was cool because it gave us a more well-rounded, musical education, so to speak.
What is one of Beethoven's great non-musical accomplishments? It's hard to ask.
Beethoven trivia. This is great. Oh man.
Not specifically related to any bit of music that he did, but this is actually, he's considered one of the very first of these.
He holds the Bohemian record for downing a massive amount of Braunschweiger in 3 minutes. I'll say that.
While cursing Napoleon.
Cursing Napoleon, that's right.
No, he is considered one of the very first commercial artists ever, commercial musicians. Like,
interesting.
I'm going out and giving a concert, you will come buy tickets and pay me. Before Beethoven, even in the case of Mozart, you had a patron. You had to work for
some
the
noble.
man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Haydn, very famous, who survived through both Mozart and Haydn, just classical music. Right. Famously, always worked for his patron and never went commercial. But he could have, because Haydn was probably even bigger than Beethoven at that point, because he'd been around for so long. And his body of work, if you look at Haydn, it's like,
it's huge,
gigantic. Huge. I mean, he outlived Mozart.
Yeah.
Beethoven.
Oh, Ludwig, man.
And the reason is this was the time of Napoleon, as Napoleon was thrashing Europe and taking down the royalty and the everyone who the power brokers.
Sure.
And Beethoven originally was enthused by this. Hence, I can't remember Opus 60 blah blah blah. I know, guys. I used to know this stuff
in D minor,
but it was called the Emperor, right?
Yep.
We all know it as the Emperor. And later, after he realized that Napoleon was more a despot than what he was bringing, the revolution to the middle class and the bourgeoisie.
And who didn't see that coming?
Funny, it never happened again in history.
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, on his manuscript, he would scribble out the Emperor. So he had dedicated it to Napoleon, and then he was like, I don't like this anymore. Beethoven. Our image of Beethoven is always like, I can't get the notes. He
was a curmudgeon.
Yes.
I'm going to say that Ludwig was a curmudgeon. Man.
Yes.
But,
well, you're the world's greatest composer, musician, at the time, and you're really working for it, and you're going deaf. Yeah, that would make you a little curmudgeonly.
Right.
So, anyway, Beethoven, he stuck it to the man. And said, "No, I'm gonna sell tickets and work it." Yeah. And thus entered in the beginnings of commercial art, commercial artists, or commercial musicians, at least. So,
well, I got him as my ringtone. Mine's called da 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 da.
Anyway, where were we at? We were talking about the records.
Yeah.
So Bach was big. Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Aunt and uncle to Elvis, and so Elvis was huge Elvis. And to this day, I have to say, I still love Elvis.
Me too, yeah.
I'm an Elvis man.
People today, they don't understand how really huge Elvis was at the time. Elvis.
TCB.
Yeah, he was, man. He, you think of Michael Jackson, Prince, Nickelback. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no.
But I'll roll them all into one. The only guys that came, that were pretty much peered with Elvis, the Beatles.
Right. Yeah.
People Elvis say, I don't understand all this Elvis back then, man. He was the king. You know?
Yeah. Well, we got Elvis. I got him here. I got the picture. Him and Nixon. But yeah, he was huge.
Right.
It was.
I saw that photo.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites.
He has a little cape or whatever.
Yeah. Famous story. We won't go into that today. We don't have time for the Elvis Nixon thing.
I know, but Nixon looks so awkward.
And there is a great documentary reenactment thing about it from years ago. Oh, it's so good. I gotta go find a digital copy of it.
Hey, Richard, how you doing? How you doing, Mr. President? Mr. President, hey.
Well,
you like a cheeseburger?
They go into the history of it, and then they kind of make speculation of the stuff they don't know in the timeline. So,
gotcha.
Anyway, Elvis was huge. in the 60s, in the 70s, that's when he was became the Cape and the Las Vegas.
Remember when he made his comeback special?
Yeah. Yeah.
When he had that leather suit or whatever it is, people went bananas for that, man. Yeah.
So, and then Star Wars came out and he died.
Yeah.
But anyway, even if you don't like that whole thing, the whole Vegas, Viva Las Vegas, all that stuff, even if you can't get your hand, and I understand, right? Nobody can tell me that you have to like Elvis. I get it. It just doesn't work. Yeah. If you like rock music and rock and roll and the roots of rock, just go back to Elvis's first recordings, the Sun Sessions or something.
Yes, yeah.
Just listen to a little of that when he's hanging out with Carl Perkins and Johnny Cash.
Huge little melting pot down there.
Yeah, because that's some serious business.
Back then, he was a kid, but they didn't know what to do with Elvis.
The Sun Sessions.
Yeah, at first they didn't know what to do with Elvis. He had a pretty decent voice.
Baby.
Right, and this is before the whole pelvis move and everything like that. And they were and so a lot of his stuff, the early was gospel. I mean, he was, of course, he came.
Well, that's kind of like the roots. That's the roots of all the great rock, like the really rock roots.
Yeah.
Black artists.
Little Richard.
White artists all came from the gospel, from the church.
You got it, yeah.
Which is interesting because this plays back to that discussion about Beethoven being a commercial artist.
Yeah.
Because artists worked for patrons, either a king or a pope or a cardinal or something like that.
Sure.
So there was a point where music, there was no commercial art. I mean, you could go to the tavern and get a pint, like in the Middle Ages, get your pint, because you drank, that's what you drank, because you don't drink the water, dude. No. It'll kill you.
Right.
Which always amazed me about the Middle Ages is everyone must have been incredibly drunk all the time, because the most safest thing to drink was beer, fermented things.
Right. Well, that actually, in light of that actually answers a lot of questions.
I know. But troubadours. The troubadour was like the closest thing to the commercial artist, right?
Traveling from fair to fair.
Play the lute.
Yeah.
Give them, we'll give you some pint and a rabbit's leg or something. Okay. That was it. I mean, it was pretty dark. Everything good. The Lady Gaga presentations and all that stuff was there at the church. Go down to the church.
Yep.
Did the big organ.
Yep.
Check out this guy Bach. He wears a cool wig.
Yeah.
He's like the Lady Gaga of his time, right? They got all the music. They got all the musicians, the best songs. So that's all you got was church music.
Yep.
And that's the reason people went to the church. That there was no TV. There was no radio. You didn't read. And if you did read, maybe it was the Bible. That was about it.
You were either in the church or you were a real highborn person who read.
Who didn't give a crap.
The average person.
And then those people, if you were that rich nobility, then maybe you hired your own musician and painters and things like that. Okay? Yeah. So that was it. But we're talking about the common man. That was it. Church. That's where you went to get your entertainment.
That's right.
And so, which is why you go to these cathedrals and there's paintings and statues and all. Wow, they're really serious about pushing this art thing in here. Yeah. It's that was the highlight of your miserable existence.
Right, Michelangelo. So
when you think about the 20th century as blues influenced music is coming out, and then rock and roll and that root stuff, and you think about a lot of these musicians came out of those southern churches. They were gospel singers.
Yep.
It's almost like a cross-pollination back into the commercial feed. I don't know.
Right.
I just thought that was an interesting historical parallel on History with Curmudgeons.
Yeah, but
we should call this show that.
That's right. History with the Curmudgeons. But no, you're right, though. The South at that time was a huge melting pot. You had the blues, you had gospel, you had, the echoes of ragtime and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, can you imagine going back there into Sun recordings and listening to those guys do, holy
You know where the ragtime music came from? Not church. The opposite of church.
No, the brothel music.
The brothel music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joplin.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Jelly Roll Morton. I think.
Yep.
Which, by the
Jelly
way,
Roll?
if you're not familiar with Jelly Roll Morton,
Yeah.
go get some. You can find the recordings.
Oh,
Go listen to some Jelly Roll. My bad.
Get on YouTube and type in Jelly Roll Morton.
You like Jelly Roll Morton?
I do like me some Jelly Roll Morton.
Yeah. He's like one of the, the inventor of the
Yes.
That piano, that rolling bass that
made really famous by guys like Fats Domino and stuff like that who did the
We're talking like what, the 20s, 30s. The recordings would have been like 30s, but
mid 20s, yeah.
And this was the beginning of all this music. Was the beginning of audio recording technology too, because remember that didn't really exist. It did actually exist in the 19th century, but you'd have to go visit a guy named Edison and listen to his rolls.
It wasn't
stuff like
commercially viable until
the Victrola in the 78.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna bring down one of these days. I've got a bunch of, because you can get a 78 like for a dime at a record store. I got a stack of them. Ooh. I was gonna bring them down and play 78s. So when I was a little tyke, they still had 78s. They still existed.
I remember that. I remember my grandparents had 78s.
I think if I remember the history, and I looked up the history of 78s, God, it's like something like 1972 or something like that, or even later, that they finally, the world stopped manufacturing 78s.
Yeah.
78s are the first records. These little, they're like this, and they,
Yeah.
But even in a time when the 45, which came out in the 50s,
right,
and was popularized with rock and roll, and it was smaller, easier to, because you didn't have tapes, you didn't have Walkman, you didn't have an MP3 player, so you want to go over with your high school friends,
and it was a single for promotional use. Here's a single.
Yeah.
45.
But you would come over like, oh, come on over. Let's listen to some music. Okay, I'll bring my records.
Yeah.
So you'd have to suitcase.
Yeah.
Bring your records over. You got your little 45 there thing, and then we listen to records.
Oh, yeah.
Used to do that with my grade school girlfriend. And we, interestingly enough, listen to 50s music because that's what was popular then. So my first record, so what I remember on the radio as a little tyke, I can name 3 songs. A Simon and Garfunkel song. I think it's the one that's I Am a Rock. I am. I'll never forget this, and I don't. Probably because I was a little tyke, so it's like right in my little tyke demographics. The Archies with Sugar Sugar.
Honey. You are my candy girl.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
Right.
It was a huge hit, too. And if you listen to the song, I mean, who are the Archies, right? It's supposed to be like the Archies, like the Archie comics, which, boy, we should talk about what's going on in the Archie world.
Yeah.
On Netflix.
Riverdale or something
Riverdale,
like that?
man.
Dude.
Welcome,
Jughead
Archie.
Getting around.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
it's like Archie goes dystopia. No, but anyway.
Oh my God, he's on acid.
I don't know what that deal was. If it was like the Monkees, the Archies, but I just remember it was the Archie Sugar Sugar, wasn't it?
Yep, Sugar Sugar. Yeah.
And then
Lovin' Spoonful.
Yeah, there was others, but these are the ones I remember.
The Turtles,
very specifically. Well,
Happy Together.
Yes, actually, that's a good point. The Turtles, Flo and Eddie.
Yes.
Who I love them dearly because then they joined the Mothers of Invention and did stuff with Frank Zappa in the early 70s.
Who would have ever thought that?
Oh, no, they're just watch 200 Motels.
Gotcha.
If you can get through it. But anyway, yes, the Turtles, that's one that definitely was there. But I think the one that stuck and then kind of led offhandedly to my first record was Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Ooh.
And see, then I was like, I like a rock band with the horns and the jazzy and all that.
Yeah.
So by the time I went to go buy my LP, right, and I've got something to play it on, or we got a family stereo, I can go down to Crystal Ship Records which was this famous record store downtown Portland in the Galleria. One of these super mega places. You'd walk in and albums everywhere. And this was like the time of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, and all that stuff. Yeah. This was back in the KGUN days. I think they probably advertised on KGUN.
I can, yeah.
So I went down, and I got Chicago's greatest hits.
Ooh.
You know, 25, 64, Sunday in the Park, you know, all that. Because Chicago was hot.
Must have been the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Saturday in the park.
The one that...
I think it was the 4th of July.
The one that I saved a video. I found a video of them live from that time period. And their Terry Gath, the late, great Terry Gath, their guitar player, singing that... what is that song? Dun, 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 dun. I still...
Does anybody know what time
No. Now I totally botched it. Anyway, he sings this really great song. His Kath had this grovelly voice. It's not 25 or 64. It's...
That's what I always break out into.
It's... I don't know. See, in the morning, my brain doesn't work so well. But there's a great live of them playing it, and it's just, like, great. And he was really great. I really liked him. I posted it on my Facebook, so I looked through weeks of my Facebook posts. Yeah, it's up there. There's a thing.
You know, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this guy too, and that is another thing that was huge. It kind of blew me away at the time. Peter Frampton Comes Alive.
Oh yeah.
You know. I want you to wow.
That was kind of a time period for us. Yeah. Where I remember Frampton and then the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album.
Yes, Go Your Own Way. Go Your Own
Way. We had a teacher in the middle school. We had a teacher. And he was like, you know how you have that teacher that's like, oh, this is the cool teacher, you know? Usually they're like a Vietnam vet and they saw some stuff, so they'd walk into class and go, no lesson today. I want you to all individually study. And I've got a tape machine here, and you can bring in your favorite record and listen to it. And you'd be like, I love this teacher. Yeah. I mean, he taught. We actually did a lot of, but it was more kind of the... You know,
how he engaged you.
You know, because the teachers that you, maybe you remember too, are the ones that come in with the whip and the ruler and we'll do this, we will do that, we will do this. But this guy was more kind of like, and I remember we did like lots of work in his class, but he also like said, well, when we do our studies, we can listen to music.
Yeah, there you go.
And you know, and he's like one of those teachers that would have a class vote, that sort of thing, you know.
Oh, democracy in action.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. And it was like, oh, this is cool, you know. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. The teacher's just like, they're hiding and shivering in the corner. Oh! And the kids are like, I want this, I want that, I want this and the other thing.
Right.
Evergreen College. Yeah.
Anyway.
So we listened to music, and a lot at that time. A lot of it was Frampton Comes Alive.
Frampton Comes Alive, yeah.
And the Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Oh, and then I had another teacher in that same school. Same thing, but he was like a complete Star Wars. I mean, he was a sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
And so he got me really into you need to read this book and here's a list. I'm going to give you a list if you're into sci-fi. I was like, thanks. He was like my English teacher. I'm like, thanks, English teacher. I'm going to go off and read these books. So Star Wars was big. And so he was the guy who would like play tapes of the Star Wars record stuff, which I have found a copy of.
Yeah, John Williams, man.
You know, before Star Wars, he's just talking about technology, pop culture.
Sure.
When Star Wars came out, I think the VCR... I think it was out, but it was not like we're talking about. It was like stereo. It just nobody had one. Okay, right. It was a few years after. By the time you get to Empire Strikes Back, people are starting to have like VCRs in their home.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I remember Buddha's dad had a old like Betamax.
Yeah. You
know,
well, that was
VHS versus Beta.
There was the whole VHS Beta. But when Star Wars, when the movie came out, was so popular, there wasn't there wasn't an aftermarket in movies yet. you know, as far as in videotape.
Yeah.
That was to come a few years later. I think their Laserdisc, maybe not, though.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
That's a little early for Laserdisc.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because Laserdisc was kind of like the
early
high
80s,
quality
right?
answer.
81, 82, somewhere there.
I think you're right, maybe. So no videotapes. So the first aftermarket thing, you know, for the home for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because you didn't buy a Star Wars video until later. Like I said, until Empire, and then we got videotapes.
Yeah.
Was the Star Wars Story record. I actually have it. It's not here. I could show it. But it was actually a record of the movie Star Wars. As narrated, I think, by C-3PO.
Oh, man,
it actually has C-3PO and R2-D2 on the cover. It's the Star Wars Story.
Yeah.
And you'd buy it because you couldn't buy the video. And so you would listen to the story of Star Wars. So it had a whole bunch of audio from the movie. And then C-3PO would just come in and sort of narrate, well, then they went to the Death Star, and here's what happens. That's not a moon, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Star Wars Story on LP. And that was your thing that you can buy and enjoy in the home, to enjoy the Star Wars movie in the home, until we got videotapes by the next movie.
I remember, speaking of Star Wars, I remember I don't know if it was John Williams or it was just some orchestra. They were traveling around, and I remember it was at the Memorial Coliseum. And the reason why I remember this, my brother went. It was a Star Wars experience where they played the stuff from Star Wars, and I remember because he brought home this huge kind of poster thing, and evidently it has nothing to do with Star Wars, but it was the guy who would do the narration at the concert was William Shatner.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And I remember I remember this because my brother had it hanging on his door. And the thing that I remembered about it, it was one of the huge sponsors was 62 KGW.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that's like something, a Star Wars experience, you know, hosted by William Shatner, and they had like some orchestra or whatever.
Oh,
and, it came to like the Coliseum.
And they played the John Williams,
Yes, and he came home with like this kind of half-size poster of it all. And the reason why I remember it is, the 62, the little round logo, 62 KGW or whatever. And, interesting, yeah. As we take a walk down Amnesia Lane.
I know. I became actually, I think a pretty darn good timpaniist in college because of Star Wars.
Wait a minute, Tiffany. I was doing
the kettle drums. The
gotcha.
Big,
yeah.
I mean, you're pretty much the other than maybe a tuba sousaphone dude. You're pretty much the baddest guy.
The glockenspiel
in the band, in the orchestra.
Right.
Especially if you're doing like Star Wars, and it's like I need at least 4 of these drums. 5 would even be better.
Yeah.
You know. It was pretty crazy. Yeah. And actually, that music's really a good like thing. If you want to play timpani, learn that Star Wars thing. It's a lot of timpani. But anyway, you know, I just thought of something.
Okay.
As we're talking, you know, we talked previously on a show about is it Godwin's law, the idea that every online argument, as it goes on and on and on, eventually evolves into someone invoking Hitler.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of the devolution of the argument. I think we should have a Jason law.
Okay. Jason law.
Curmudgeon law.
Curmudgeon law.
Is that any episode can devolve into a discussion of Star Wars.
It could happen.
And then we should invoke the law and go, oh, we're not going there.
It's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, except it's like the 7 degrees of Star Wars, because it could go there.
Yeah.
It could go there.
Star Wars.
Right.
Because then we'll just Star Wars. Watched a video on the making of Darth Vader last night. Star Wars, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, to us, though, who grew up in the 70s and the 80s, I mean, it was the iconic
But
movie,
we were talking about the Sgt. Pepper in the 60s.
Right, yeah, Sgt. Pepper.
60s.
That was a huge game changer, too, Sgt. Pepper was. Oh, my gosh, because it was like their transition out of the you know, I want to hold your hand. You know, she say, yeah, yeah. And it was their transition into more of their, you know, they're more not psychedelic per se, but more. I mean, there's a huge shift, right?
Right.
And Sgt. Pepper was it, man. Plus, it was kind of a concept album, which kind of blew everyone away too.
That's a good one.
And not only that, is the photo of it. You know, the legendary photo, the cover photo.
I'm looking. I'm actually, believe it or not, looking at the interactivity of the comments on the Facebook feed.
Yeah.
And Steve says first 45 was Puff the Magic Dragon, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yes,
come
little
on,
Jackie Paper.
Oh, you got the.
Oh, here we go.
Ring the bell.
Yeah. Puff yeah. My brother had a little 45 of that Puff the Magic Dragon. Lived by the sea. And when he dropped that acid,
talk about 8 tracks. 8 tracks was kind of like the 8 tracks was kind of in the mid 70s. Those were weird. I mean, they were the car. They were for the car.
Yeah, I remember going to Al's Records, and they used to have this.
Al's Records.
Loved Al's Records. That's where I bought my albums, dude.
Yeah, that was Al's was. I bought stuff at Al's.
The old Fred Meyers, man.
Yeah, Al's was kind of the Clackamas County version of
Everybody's Records and Tapes or whatever.
Or Bird Sweet or Music Millennium was Al's out in Clackamas County. He had all kinds of memorabilia. And
gosh.
And the thing about a great record store is not the record but the paraphernalia.
Yes.
That's actually
the cool stuff you got in it, like the liner notes on the inside sleeve. Or
posters.
Or the poster.
Because you'd be like...
Kiss was huge for that, right? Yeah. They used to put posters in all the time. Love Gun, where you get the little gun and it'll
I'd be like, I need a Who poster. Of the Who. Yeah. I need one now for my room. I need a Who. Or go to Al's Records, right? And be like, well, here's a fantastic poster of the Who right here. Oh, look. Keith Moon's jumping over his drum set. Love it.
My 2 places for posters, because there's another place that had, I mean, it was the mecca if you wanted rock posters. And that was, for me, it was the Django's. You go in there and just all the walls were just covered with all this stuff, and it's like,
Django's
so cool.
Yeah, Django's is the thing I'm thinking about as well. The late, great Django's, another great institution in Portland that is gone. I think all we have now, left is Music Millennium.
Yeah,
I think it's just on Burnside there. There was a Northwest store that closed.
23rd?
Yeah.
That closed?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Ooh,
yes, I think we only have the East Side Burnside Music Millennium store.
Yeah, I was going to get...
see, this is where Betty could jump in. And
right, I was going to get the guy who owns it, Terry.
Yeah, Terry,
he just joined the Oregon Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something. They give him that. I was going to get him on the show.
Yeah. He's. We should work on that.
Yeah,
we could actually might be able to get some help to talk to him.
Sorry, I had some breaking news.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the comments.
Gotcha.
What an idea. What do we got? Is it bad breaking news?
No, it's
or is it Covfefe?
It's just a little Comey to testify publicly about Trump.
Oh,
confrontations. He's going to do it in front of everybody. So,
or is it James Covfefe?
Covfefe.
Okay, so the deal is the elephant in the room is and I saw it last night.
Okay.
Before I went to bed, and it was blowing. It's what Twitter was made to do. It's the reason.
Yeah.
What do they say? Raison d'être? What? I don't know. I can never pronounce.
It's something French.
I don't know. The reason Twitter exists is to have a blow up social media thing.
Yeah.
And so our president in chief tweeted. What did he tweet? Do I have the original here? Oh, remind me, we're going to talk about Chuck Woolley too.
Oh, Chuck!
Yeah, because I've got it all here too.
Yeah.
So what did he tweet? I think the tweet has now been deleted.
So, something about he deleted it around.
It's about fake news.
5 his time, around 2 our time. He took it down.
Oh, he took it down.
Yeah, he took it down. But I mean, you can still. I mean, if you just do it, people have screenshotted it. It's something about it's something about the media. He starts off in the media,
fake news,
kind of like that, and it's just Covfefe, and that's it. And I remember someone, and they, you know, and I kind of chuckled at it, but he didn't mean it as a joke. And I think he's like, even though he wasn't a huge Trumper, he was like, dude, did he have like a stroke or something? Because it's just like somebody just, you know.
I have some, let me see if I can pull up. I saved some screenshots here.
And like 4 in the morning, I tweeted Covfefe equals alternative words.
Yes, so I've got, this was a thing of beauty, I think. A couple that I saved. I did this, so I did a new thing where, because I'm always saving stuff on the phone, like, wow, revolutionary, like we all do. And then we do the show, and it's like I got to do the phone, and we're trying to broadcast the phone on the thing, which sometimes works. So I just saved the images.
We need to find somebody who could be like our social media guy during the show.
Yeah. So here we go. Let me take this down.
Okay.
Oh, wrong one. Let me take this down.
Yeah.
Now here's some choice ones. So yeah, it was something about fake news, and it just ended in Covfefe. This lady Bendis XO on Twitter last night decoded Covfefe. It was calling over Vladimir for erotic fidget spinner evening. Covfefe. And below, people did. You can actually see right below that, if you're watching the thing, is they did one of the Obama Biden laughter things.
Yeah.
So that was inventive. I like that one. People started making art. I love this. Art. You're gonna love this, right? Look at this one. New Pokemon has been announced. Covfefe, and there's like a little Pokemon bird thing.
Oh, that's great.
With the kind of a Trump hair.
Right.
It's just beautiful.
Covfefe.
We love it.
It was like 4 in the morning, and I started going with these different like sort of scenes, like Ricardo Montalban as Khan yelling Covfefe, or Shatner, you know, Khan, Covfefe, or Marlon Brando, you know, instead of Stella, it's Covfefe.
So this thing was such a blow up meme on Twitter, as only Twitter can do when Twitter is good, that brands got involved. Now brands do get involved, and usually, here's the thing, if you're a brand and you get involved with a meme, you're doing it wrong, because typically brands totally screw up. And there have been cases, I'll tell you right now, there have been cases where tragedy is struck and things like that, and then some brand jumps in inappropriately. We had one just recently, a week or two ago, or a brand, and people will just jump on you. You need to know what you're doing if you are running a brand account, right, for Twitter. But you know, for all my criticism that I can give of companies and brands that do this on Twitter, I will say you guys did it right this time. Now, interestingly enough, here are 2 examples from our friends over in Europe who are fans of the POTUS.
From our friends across the pond.
Here is good old Air France UK with a picture of one of their airplanes breaking our newest destination is sunny Covfefe, maybe. And that is from the official Air France UK account.
That sounds like a Caribbean island, right?
It's just beautiful. And the first one I saw, and this is when I knew it was really blowing up, when I started seeing these brands, was KFC UK and Ireland, once again verified. I can't believe it. The final secret ingredient has at last been revealed. I'm sorry. A sprinkle of Covfefe.
That's great.
That was from KFC UK Ireland. So they were doing it right.
Yeah, I was down on the white sands of Covfefe, you know, writing my American masterpiece.
Well, inspired by someone else's post on Facebook, I was doing something, and my contribution to Covfefe is this.
Right.
And if you're just listening, it's a picture of the, I guess, dwarf who lives in the Dark Lodge in Twin Peaks. And he, if you know, when he talks, he speaks in backwards, like backmasking, like in hell. And he's saying, Covfefe.
Yes.
And then someone on my Facebook commented, Fefevuch. And I was like, well, yeah, exactly. So there you go, the Twin Peaks. So, I don't know. Yeah, and then I thought, then I did think, as I was just reading these, I'm laughing. They were so good. So many funny responses. Just go look at the hashtag and look through there. I mean, who knows now? That's probably idiots jump on. But
we should start a band and name it Covfefe. What do you think?
I don't know. I just. I mean, I of course, I titled this show today Covfefe with curmudgeons. A lot of people made coffee jokes. I mean, if you do think about it, it sounds like it doesn't it sound like a fine, high in the hills of Guatemala, Juan Valdez is picking beans. Only the select beans for Covfefe.
Instead of Nescafe, it's Nescafefe.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of the ones that I saw that were invoked Twin Peaks were Kyle MacLachlan, Agent Cooper.
Juan took a clandestine trip to the jungles of Guatemala, and he came back with Covfefe.
Oh,
what do you think?
See, it works for me. I'm already thirsty. I'm ready for a sip, which makes noise, by the way.
Okay, there it is.
No, I'm trying not to do it. Maybe it'll be better with the masks. See, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm okay, though, with the slurping of the coffee, because it shows Coffee with Curmudgeons, and if you hear me slurp the coffee, you go...
it makes sense.
These guys are legit, okay? Yes. These are too legit to quit. Anyway.
Don't make me start doing the hammer dance.
I know. So that was Covfefe.
Covfefe, yes. The Legend of Covfefe. That sounds like some,
sounds like a Bogart movie, right?
Oh, yeah, Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
After he did the Sierra Madre, he's like, we got to go to Covfefe.
Yeah, or maybe even John Wayne Hattori, right? Yeah. He's like the lead like load bearer. Covfefe, come here for a minute.
Well, so I don't. We can talk about this later. I mean, it was at least a nice, funny distraction from everything that's going on in the world. That's horrible. Yeah. Speaking of which, I have...
Here's a segue for you. Thinking that says downright horrible. Speaking of which...
I'm trying to share some pictures today.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm working on right here.
Gotcha.
Picture sharing. And neither of the pictures that I brought up are the ones... Oh, wait. Wait a minute. This is horrible.
I went on a little mini graphics tangent last night.
You did, and so we're going to see those. We're going to see those today at noon, right?
Oh, sure, why not?
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Well, remember, you came up with the idea of the old, the old Disneyland maps, right? Now we needed to do one for Trump.
Save it, man.
Yeah, I'll save it. It's a teaser. I'm throwing it out there.
Okay, I don't have it saved, which really pisses me off. But look. This is actually not, even though it's a visual, because video's hot right now.
Ooh.
It's so hot right now.
It's getting hot in here. Oh, sorry.
This is kind of an audio podcast, really. I mean,
kind of.
But I'll describe it.
It's Scandinavian, a radio show with pictures.
The Scandinavian leaders, prime ministers and all, like Norway, Sweden and all, they got together for a photograph. Yes. All of them, because they had a confab, and they basically parodied the picture of Trump with the Saudis and the orb.
I saw that, yeah.
And it was the Scandinavians. It's real cute. Go look it up. It gave me a good laugh.
Yeah, when I see stuff like the famous orb picture,
God,
different things come into my head, right? It's like, who was the guy there that said, "Hey, man, this has got to be a great idea. We're going to get these guys. We're going to put them, we're going to line them up in front of this glowing orb, and then we're going to have them touch it and look at the camera. It's going to be great, man." Who was the guy that thought that?
Dances and stuff. I mean, it's just like, well, and so I listen to conservative people.
Sure.
Well, it's tough. Some of it's not. Some of it's kind of here and then kind of in the middle and kind of over on the conservative side, And it's interesting the reaction just hearing those people. Like when I saw all that, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And the whole thing, I don't know. There's a lot of optics I did not like with that whole trip, and they're like, "Oh no, that's cool." They had a sword, I loved dance and everything.
Yeah, I love how they spun all of that.
Yeah, but it's very Trumpian.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's very much, it's like, of course they're going to do like this big spectacle and all that. So I don't want to talk about Trump anyway. But, I mean, we have a whole other show you can check out today.
I believe it comes out
Wednesday.
That's right.
Have not, we had the holiday weekend, so.
Memorial,
wasn't much to do in the news. No. I did not watch any of the programs, but I did want to share this. I took this picture about a week or so ago when we were talking about Fox News. This was the cover of the Inquirer. Oh, this was a week or two ago. And it's the Inquirer, Fox News in crisis. What they're still hiding. Drugs, gay sex, lies, and intimidation. And then there's Megyn and Sean Hannity and Geraldo Rivera and Bill O'Reilly. Sounds like fun over there at the...
Yeah, just because Ale's gone don't mean the party stopped, right?
No, and rock and roll. That's like a rock and roll thing. So I was thinking...
Damn, you conservatives sure know how to party.
Yeah. Oh, and they do.
And they do.
You said you watched the Roger Stone documentary.
I did. Get me Roger Stone.
He and his wife knew how to party.
They still do know how to party. And
the back pages of Backpage.
Man, that documentary, folks. If you want to go see what's going on, you want to see why basically the public image, why Trump is Trump, and that everything from Make America Great Again, whatever. You gotta go watch this documentary. Such an eye opener.
It's on Netflix. Go check it out. Kick us back. We always just like seeing Netflix. Did you watch the other one I told you that I finished watching? War Machine?
No, I have not.
Pitt? Watch that one. You'll like it.
I got tied into something else.
You don't need an excuse.
Well,
it's like let me get my grade book out here.
Right, yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't watch it, Doc. It's like you were actually kind of scared.
I didn't. Like, I missed a homework assignment, right? I missed a homework assignment. Right.
Getting a book. No, it's War Machine is also up there.
I've heard good stuff about that.
And I watched that. It's a Brad Pitt thing.
Yes.
He plays a general. I think it's a fictional thing, but it's based on a true story about a general. Yeah. It's from actually the perspective, sort of. It's kind of a dark comedy, and from the perspective of a Rolling Stone guy. And I can't remember the real general that this is based off of, who was written up in Rolling Stone, and then got fired. From Obama, but it's all about the generals over there in Afghanistan and doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's Brad Pitt, and the person who's in it, who plays his wife, the poor general's wife. And I was just like, this has sparked something else in me. Meg Tilly. I love Meg Tilly. I love Meg Tilly. I've loved Meg Tilly. Yeah. Oh, good. Now I'm spitting, too. This is wonderful morning.
I love Meg Tilly.
I do. I always have. Yeah. And I haven't seen her in a lot of things. And Brad Pitt plays a general, gray hair. Meg Tilly is his wife.
Yeah.
Gray hair and stuff. And you're just like, what has happened to my world? Because you remember, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I remember Meg Tilly back in the day. But she was great. She was really good. I was like, I always really liked her, Yeah. And so I was happy to see her. And I liked her. I liked her performance, but anyway, War Machine. That's a good one.
Check it out. Yeah.
I reviewed it on that. I try to sometimes review things I like on Netflix now, or give it stars. And I was, a lot of people liked it. Some people didn't like it. There were some things I expected from it that didn't happen, but that's okay. I thought it was good. I was kind of like, if you like this movie. Go review Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket again, because it's a very. I was like, it reminded me of the dark comedy, cynical movies about Vietnam.
Right.
But this is like Afghanistan now, which then creeped me out because I was like, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
History. Didn't read the book. Got a C. Vietnam, Afghanistan, we repeat ourselves.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, this weekend I watched it's kind of a preview show of the brand new documentary coming out by Ken Burns. It's on Vietnam.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Vietnam, I saw that. Is that coming out this week?
Mm-mm. The preview did the.
Let me not interrupt your.
Oh, sorry.
Sipping. No,
spews all over the place.
This is just a mess. I'm burping and spitting all over it.
No,
I'm going to be deleting this episode.
Good night, everybody. The Ken Burns, the show itself will be September. They just had a kind of a behind the scenes preview of what they did to make it. It was very, very enthralling.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like get to bed early, get refreshed to do Coffee with Curmudgeons Wednesday. Well, last night, Wednesday, May 30th, you know what dropped? Season 5 of House of Cards.
Oh,
Kevin Spacey.
I don't know how many people I saw on there saying binge watching House of Cards right now.
I was telling you that. And the thing is, it was like, oh, it's on. And I have been like, I don't know. After last season and mainly everything that's been going on, I've enjoyed House of Cards. But everything that's been going on. And the last season, it wasn't my favorite so much, I think. But with everything going on in the world and in the U.S., I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna take with that. But I did start watching it, and it was like, yeah, okay, I'm binge watching it. It's
this is happening.
Yeah. So I started, and I'm certainly not done with it, but I started watching it. I was like, yeah,
I'm still on season 1.
They're back. Yeah, you got it. Well, you got to get through it. I know. I'm still on season 1 of the British version of House of Cards, which is where House of Cards came from. It was a British show. So, in history-making ideas, a.k.a. maybe this is a bad idea, in Germany, in the HuffPost, German kindergartens to report parents for refusing vaccine advice under new law.
You will report to us all illegal activities.
Didn't we try this before in Germany at one point?
Right.
Germans, I get the whole vaccine thing.
Gestapo.
Yeah, I get the whole vaccine thing, and I do understand, where we're coming from, and I'm also I have to say, because I'm always like kind of try to be in the center there. I'm also like, I like to see the safety on these things too, because there have been problems with the safety of vaccines. I'm sorry, they are. So you got to keep that. That doesn't make me an anti-vaxxer.
Right.
So don't call me an anti-vaxxer, but.
If you want to call Doc an anti-vaxxer, you can call him right now at 503-395-5040.
But, making a law where your kids can tattle on the family?
Yeah.
In Germany?
Yeah. Yeah.
How could this possibly go wrong?
It's like, we should probably. Has it been long too soon?
My Fati, he did not get a flu shot this year. It's like, oh my gosh.
Really? You mean he did not get a shot?
Jenkins! Ring the bell.
You gotta
ring the bell.
Get the vaccination records here.
Have you had your vaccinations? General Bukata will be here. Hogan.
Reporting fear. Get the vaccination records.
I mean, come on, man.
Says here, you did not get diphtheria?
Oh, yeah,
You got the measles, but no diphtheria.
I mean, it's a huge deal, right? And they're
back in the line.
And they're trying to, in the U.S., they're actually they want to put laws in, because they don't want the kids showing up to the schools. So I don't know. And I don't know. There's controversy because, back in our day, like going back to Sugar, Honey, all that, Sgt. Pepper. We remember the vaccines, and it would be like every couple of years. It's like, I'm in the 4th grade now. Oh man, I gotta get that shot. It's painful in the
with us, it was like measles, mumps. It was all that stuff. What was the other big one? It was like polio, right? Polio, and
then the I don't know. The dengue fever. I don't know. But you just go there like a sheep and go, what's that? It was exactly like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Remember in Star Trek where once in a while Bones would show up and like, psh.
Yeah.
What's that for? It's like
try walking down the line.
That's for the Klingon fever, Jim.
Try walking down the line when you're in the army. You get it from both sides. They have those guns. Bam, 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 bam. You're at the end. You're like, oh.
Yeah, God. The army's just like Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you do that. But now, in our times, and you have kids, right? Is it all gets done like in the first 2 years or something? It's just like bam, 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 bam. You know?
Yeah.
And so they say, well, it's better, it'll help, it's good, and so you do it for your kid.
Sure.
So there's some controversy about that too. Some people are actually wondering if that's
causes autism.
Well, I don't want to go there because I don't. Here's the thing. I am not one of the people who thinks that there is a direct link to autism from vaccine.
Right.
See, so that makes me not an anti-vaxxer, but I'm also a person who thinks that mercury and safety of vaccines is really important because everyone's getting them and you're getting it shot in your bloodstream.
Yeah.
Still does not make me an anti-vaxxer, but anyway.
Right. But anyway.
And the other thing, this is my big thing. Vaccines are a good moneymaker for pharma companies.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't need an outbreak of something, or you don't need people getting sick because they're prophylactic, they're preventative.
Right.
And so if you can get everyone on the the vaccine trail, that's money in the bank.
There you go.
For your pharma companies.
Right.
So says the guy who didn't get a flu shot this year and got the flu.
Ah, yeah. No, yeah.
So there you go.
I got a flu shot.
Did you get the flu?
I actually think I got the flu too.
Well,
that didn't work.
That's interesting, and that's always a problem.
But there's so many strains out there.
Yeah, I read some articles, probably saved deep down in my Facebook. I read some articles where they are talking about one flu shot to rule them all. Period.
The Lord of the shots.
No, you would just get this one shot. That actually scientists, they're researching this. They're like, we really are at a point in the technology where we think we could make just one flu shot. Like it's not a seasonal thing. The problem is, I think, and I read some sciencey things, and I read through the thing, and it was like, wow, yes, that looks plausible. I mean, it's really legit. Problem is, my first question was, how does the pharma companies make money? Because that yearly flu shot, which I think is even subsidized by the government. You know, the government buys flu vaccines and that sort of thing.
Right.
It's like how are they going to make money? Like if you streamline this and you give them one flu shot, I don't get to make the money for my seasonal stuff, so I don't know. Plus, they'll probably find something else.
You also have to factor in that a lot of the strains evolve.
Jason, toe jam vaccines for everyone.
Sweet.
What is toe jam exactly? Maybe I shouldn't ask that.
I don't know.
Didn't
John Lennon do that? They come together, toe jam football. He's got holy roller.
That's a pretty good song. I played that once. I
one makes
the weird
three.
drum part.
Right.
Well, like a lot of the Beatles songs, it's like, who played the drums here? Ringo, Paul, Karen Carpenter. Who the hell played the drums on this thing? No, it's just like you're like, that was weird. That's a weird drum part. Yeah. Interesting though. I have a video of it. I can show you. It's literally like, oh, okay.
Sad we can't show the videos because some people and their copyright infringements. Know who you are.
I think it'd be okay because it's original. It's a cover of a song, unless they get to the point where they recognize the song cover, which I've heard has happened. But I think you'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I would hope so. But
anyway, so I didn't want to get off on the vaccine trail. Did I ever tell you the time I met Chuck Woolery?
No, you never talked about that. He was the guy from Love Connection, right?
Ah,
let's get a love connection. Let's bring out Bart. He is from Van Nuys, California, and he collects socks. Come on out.
He was huge.
Yeah,
he was huge, and he was the first host of Wheel of Fortune. The very first host.
Really?
Before Pat Sajak.
Pre-Sajak.
You know what? I should be looking up the wiki. I should have pulled the Wikipedia on this again.
Right. Pre-Sajak. Instead of BC, it's BS.
Yeah.
Before Sajak.
So here's what happened. Okay, I'm just pulling this up. right here.
I can't imagine him as Wheel of Fortune, though.
Oh, no.
Because he had that total, voice. Would you like to buy a vowel?
That was the beginning. Yeah, that was the beginning of it. And the reason this came up was I mentioned some tweets, which I'm going to show you, and some stuff about Chuck Woolery.
Yeah.
And then as I was showing you this stuff, I then messaged back and I said, wait a minute. I've seen him in person.
I met that guy.
Yeah. And I was like, it's just the people you meet in life.
Did you get any wackadoo vibes when you met him?
No, he was huge. Yeah. So here's what happened. And this gets into the political again, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's so out there.
So Chuck, over the weekend, just over the weekend, Memorial Day, and some people had to point out, not Veterans Day, Memorial Day. This is for the people.
These are the ones that didn't come back.
As I said, gave their lives for others.
Their last full measure of devotion, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Chuck had his thoughts on Memorial Day.
Oh gosh.
And whatnot. And what was it here? Believe it or not, Carl. This was the tweet that went around the world from Chuck Woolery. Believe it or not, Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin were both Jewish. I was shocked to find most of the original Soviet communists were Jewish.
Wow. Chuck, what's going on, dude?
Your point?
And you got to do that voice, too. I can't believe that they were Jewish. Wow.
So people jumped on that, and some people, a bunch of people pointed out that that neither Karl Marx or Vladimir, I almost said Putin,
V.I. Lenin,
V.I. Lenin were Jewish based on their cultural heritage, versus whether or not they had some ancestry that was Jewish, and so there were some people who were Jewish who were trying to explain that on Twitter to Mr. Chuck, and then other people that usually hashtag their stuff with MAGA were explaining. Yeah, I mean, it was just like, and then he just. Oh God, I wonder what his thoughts on Hitler are.
He kept going, didn't he?
Yeah, when Stalin came to power in the USSR, he began to purge all the Jews. Marx was then he corrects himself and he goes, Marx was actually Prussian, which was a part of Germany during his life.
Oh boy!
Thanks for the hit.
Right.
What's the point, dude?
What the heck is the host from Love Connection giving us a history lecture for?
Well, what I thought was funny is as I'm looking at Chuck's Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Twitter does a thing like, if you like Chuck Woolery, and I'm not following him, right? But it's like, if you're looking at Chuck Woolery, here's some other suggestions of people to follow on Twitter. And so I screen capped that. That would be who to follow. This is if you were enjoying the Chuck Woolery feed, you might want to follow him. Other people you could follow is James Woods.
Oh, jeez.
Noted liberal Hollywood guy. No.
I bet James is like, gee, thanks for...
Dinesh D'Souza, and I've actually, I think this was on Netflix, #1 best-selling author, speaker, and filmmaker at Hillary's America is available now to own stream. Trust me, Dinesh, Hillary's America is not
happening.
Not a piece if you're a Hillary supporter. And Coulter.
Well, okay, I can believe the Ann Coulter thing, but
and right under this, the beauty of it is, who to follow: James Woods, Dinesh D'Souza, Ann Coulter, and right underneath this, another choice Chuck Woolery tweet: if you ever needed proof that members of the left are mentally ill and in need of help, just read below. This is just pure evil and hate. And the tweet had been deleted. So,
oh my God,
that's your Chuck Woolery. I was going to pull up. If you I tried to get a screenshot of this, Jason.
Man, Chuck Woolery doesn't need a love connection. He needs a therapy connection.
He basically kind of is a
He's out there.
Well, he's a rightish.
Well,
right guy, right? And his and it just blew me away.
He's just to the right of Genghis Khan.
I don't know.
Holy cow.
We're really not supposed to talk politics.
Chuck. No, just the more of the kind of what it's like the WTF files, right? Like what? Just it's so weird that the guy who hosted Love Connection.
Well, it's not Love Connection anymore. It's Blunt Force Truth podcast.
Gosh. Oh boy,
with Chuck Woolery.
That's a gem.
Yes.
Holy cow.
And he's a Hollywood conservative, Love Connection host, back in 2 and 2, fisherman, Navy vet, political activist, host of Blunt Force Truth with Mark Young.
Yeah.
So,
I
anyway.
bet you that's a scintillating...
Yeah, I just thought, if I want comedy, I'll watch Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
But I just thought the suggestions were hilarious, and the tweet stream was actually kind of hilarious to read before the Covfefe came about. It was a pretty entertaining.
The Covfefe matter.
Entertaining read.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Chuck Woolery from my childhood, the original host.
Yeah.
Of here it is, of course, Merv Griffin Productions.
Yeah, I bet you the people on the old Merv Griffin thing, they don't think much of that.
Where's the dang list? I had the list. Oh, brother, we need stalling music. Here we go. Okay. Wheel of Fortune, Chuck Woolery was the first inaugural host, 1975 to 1981.
Wow.
And then it was...
Longer than I thought.
And then it was 81 to... Only 89, Pat Sajak, 81 to 89.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, because it seems... I mean, that show ended up becoming kind of synonymous with Pat Sajak. But then he did a talk show and other things. He went off. And... The first,
does he still do it?
Which one?
Sajak, does he still do?
I don't think the show is on anymore. Bob Goen? No, the show's still on, isn't it?
I think so.
Yes, Robert Ennis, 2015 to present.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I'm
so far out of the loop I'm at.
I mean, Wheel of Fortune, it's like, comes on. But, and the first hostess, gosh, it was right here. Oh, here we go. Susan Stafford, 1975 to 1982, replaced by Vanna White.
Yeah.
Again, she and Pat Sajak became kind of, the meme Vanna turned the thing or whatever it was. Right?
Oh, they were the dynamic duo there, man.
But it was Chuck Woolery and Susan Stafford who were the original, and I heard that when Vanna was off, they actually brought Susan Stafford back. It was a big deal to play in. So, go down to Hollywood, California.
Okay.
And one thing you can do is you get tickets, which are free. Actually, you get tickets to go see a daytime taping of a show.
Yeah.
And the thing, even game shows, they don't tape them every day. It's not like a Monday through Friday, and it's like they do 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So they do a taping of any television show. They do all the episodes within 2 days of each other.
Double and sometimes triple it up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's as if we did this podcast. We do 3 a week, and we did them all on Monday, and then just played them live.
Hey, how come their news stories are 2 weeks old?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you.
Well, the news is live to be current, but even a game show or a drama, whatever, a talk show, right? And so they would tape them. So you'd get tickets, and you'd see maybe 2 episodes of the show taped. And at the time, Wheel of Fortune was a brand new show, so nobody knew really. It was what is it, right? It wasn't what it became. It's one of the biggest game shows we know.
Yeah.
Another Merv Griffin thing, like Jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
And so Chuck Woolery, he was the host, very hosty, and then this Susan Stafford. Mm-hmm. And Susan came up and glad-handed everybody and talked to everybody, and she was very, very, very nice, very sweet person. And we had a conversation because it's oh, you're from Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon. Here's what she said. I'll never forget. She says, Portland, Oregon, I hear it's so beautiful up there. It's so in the Northwest. I hear it's great. And she said, I think the moisture and all of that is good for your skin. Susan Stafford.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go. And then I think Chuck kind of came over and said a few words to the audience. Like, hey, I'm Chuck. Someday you'll be reading my weirdly conservative, quasi-anti-Semitic tweets in the future.
How old were you when you went to the taping?
I don't remember. And we don't talk about age here.
Hey, Doc, nice to meet you, Chuck Woolery. Hey, did you know V.I. Lenin and Jewish? All right, you be a good kid. Sit there in third row.
I know, man.
Have fun.
And so the weird thing is I'm reading his tweets.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you about it. I was like, dude, you gotta like check this out, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh snap, I've actually met this guy. I've actually seen him in person.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and I was like sitting there going, where was it? And then I realized it was Wheel of Fortune. And the other thing I remember is that damn wheel was loud as... It was really loud in the studio.
Yeah.
And it's like they have sound stages down there, and I can't remember where they produced it, CBS or whatever the studio. Burbank, California, baby.
Sunny Burbank, California. Yeah, I remember when I saw the tweets, when you sent me the Chuck Woolery tweets, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my! Actually, I think the quote, I can't say it live on air because it's a family show, was beep, beep, and the wife turns over, because she was like, "What are you looking at now?" And I said, "Chuck Woolery, he's gone off the rails, man."
Yeah,
someone take his,
I think he's been off the rails for a while.
Full on, yeah.
But it just blew me because I'm like thinking. We liked him. He did other things. I think he did a talk show. I think the whole Entertainment Tonight thing or whatever.
Infomercials after
I don't care, frankly.
But wasn't he the guy like, when you guys make whoopee? What do you say? His whole thing was like the whoopee, right?
No.
Whoopee.
No, making whoopee was Bob Eubanks.
Oh, you're right.
Newlyweds.
You're right.
Oh, great.
Oh, Newlyweds, right? Yeah, Whoopi,
Newlyweds,
right.
Where's the most uncomfortable place you've ever made Whoopi?
Right.
Interestingly enough, that meme has
in the back of a Volkswagen.
They've played the telephone game. What the woman actually said on air versus what we remember it to be. Like if you Google that one, you'll be like the history of the Newlywed. The question that basically he couldn't continue the show because he had lost it.
Yeah.
So anyway, but
all right, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Who is your favorite game show host of all time?
Well, it's Chuck Woolery until last night.
Right, it was Chuck.
I looked up to him. The lady was really nice, though. And like I said, I just recounted this conversation, and she was so sweet. And, of course, she's,
It's good for the moist.
And she's, the person who turns the thing, right? So it's gown, beautiful complexion, the hairdo, I mean, that's so it's like, you're an angel, and you're nice.
Yeah.
Best game show?
Yeah, best game. I already got mine. I already know mine. Mine's easy because I dig this dude, man. I dig him. You ready for this?
Go.
Gene Rayburn.
Yes.
Match Game, dude.
Yes.
He had that tall, skinny microphone, and
That's a
that's a
tough
Jamie
one.
Farr and
Match Game was probably
Nipsey Russell.
I mean, I'd say around this time of Wheel of Fortune, Match Game was like the hot daytime game show. It was.
Yeah.
And that was the one you'd want to get into because, oh my gosh, that's a great one. It was either Match Game or The Gong Show.
Oh, Chuck Barris, yeah.
Because it was like, those two were like
close. I didn't put
major. You have to take The Gong Show out. You can't do The Gong Show because you just put it on its own separate pedestal.
Right.
But both of those... Match Game was man. Like the top.
Match Game 74, man.
See, I liked all of them. This is when you grow up on TV. What was the password? The pyramid password?
64,000. Yeah, wasn't it? Like they're sitting there face to face, and they're like. You
remember who the host was?
Hold on.
Was it? I can't remember his name, but he was Betty White's husband.
Well, I know for a long time Clark did it. Dick Clark did it.
He did after. I think after this guy.
Betty White's husband, yeah. Jack,
was it London something? I don't know. Look it up.
I just remember Dick Clark.
Yeah, I think Dick Clark came after him.
Gotcha, yeah.
He might have actually passed away for the the thing. But anyway, yeah. But I always liked because you ready on the bell? Ready on the bell?
I'm on it.
Because the show, I liked shows that would like Wheel of Fortune is loud. It's
right.
And what they do is when they do a game show, right?
Yeah.
They have the applause sign,
right?
And it's not just the sign. There's a audience coordinator or two.
He's a fluffer.
Yeah. Well,
he's the guy that stands off to the side of the show.
Right.
If you're Larry Sanders, you know it's a Rip Torn. He's at the side of the show and he's getting the crowd.
But in a game show, they have like a person.
Yeah.
Like maybe even an intern or a associate producer. I don't know what they call them, floor director, assistant floor director.
Yeah.
And their whole job is to stand looking at the audience and go, we like that. Let's clap, right? And you're supposed to clap. And they tell you, right? Yeah, right, exactly. They tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. You get the little blinking applause sign.
Yeah, but it's actually there's a person there, and they come out and they say, hey, when I say clap, you clap. When I go like this, oh, you go, oh. When I say yay, you go yay. You know, they do all this. They coach you, and that's how they get their little sound bites. Not only that, they even do have the sound effects Foley guy. They add in more canned audience. It's not just the audience, because the audience sound, they're actually small.
Yeah, I recognize that laughing. That's from Silver Spoons.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest things. Like at the Wheel of Fortune, it was like, wait, I can hear on the speakers. Wait, there's more sound. But anyway,
yeah.
But the thing I liked about the password, you ready to?
Okay.
Is you'd have the da-da-da, and then it would go really quiet because they'd have the secret cards. Yeah. And I always liked shows with the secret cards, because then it would be like, the password is Mastodon. Right, and then you have to go. It's your pet. It's your family pet. It's a dog, very big dog, Mastodon. Yes, ding ding. You know, I mean, it'd be like stuff like that. Right. You know what? You and I, we just should screw this and do a game show.
Yeah. Ooh, NuzBox game show. We should develop a game show.
I know. It'd be great.
Wheel of Lutefisk. I did that, by the way. That was I was
Wheel of Lute?
Yeah, I was in college. And
Wait, is that actually something you eat?
Oh, Lutefisk, yeah. If you're a Norwegian, man, you know what Lutefisk is.
No, but in a wheel? I mean, I guess they have Norwegian bread, which is a wheel. So a wheel...
No, I don't know. Well, I was in college and I was taking a mythology course. And you had to do this presentation, and I got stuck with the old Norse stuff. So I came out with Wheel of Lutefisk. My partner, her name was Vanna Halla. And I was, you're going to love this. I did the old 70s leisure suit thing, you know. And I was Thor Mankiewicz.
Thor Mankiewicz. Wheel of Lutefisk. Yeah, here he is. It was Betty White's second husband, Alan Ludden.
Yes.
What's his name? This guy right here.
Yes. Okay.
And, MC and game show host, perhaps best known for having hosted various incarnations of the game show Password between 1961 and 1980. He died in 81, so yeah, I'm certain that Clark replaced him after his untimely death. I remember that too, because Betty White was hot back then. She's been hot like
Betty
forever.
White,
because she was doing Mary Tyler Moore. I think at the time.
Yeah.
So so there you go. So Chuck Worley is weird, and then another icon that I saw, like right there, like you and me, right here on the street corner.
Yes.
Rodeo Drive, as they say in California.
Rodeo Drive.
Or as they would say in Pendleton, Rodeo Drive.
Right. I missed that one.
You did. You totally did. Jacqueline Smith.
Ooh.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. Charlie's Angels right there. It was hot, on fire. And you're walking down the street about 6 o'clock, and this very pretty lady who's actually short, brunette, walks by with a blonde, and they get in this really fancy sports car thing and drive off.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden everybody stops, looks at each other and goes, who was that? And it was like
person.
That was, I can't remember her character, But I was like, that's from Charlie's Angels. That's who that was. And it's like, how come you didn't recognize her? I was like, wow, she's shorter, because you think she you know, the TV makes you bigger. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And she was like, I don't know how tall she is.
5'4".
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But it was her. Walked right past me. It was like, you know,
too bad you didn't have the dinger then. You just, as she walked past me, you just look at her and go.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. I mean, this was a time, I doubt. See, Hollywood isn't like this anymore. Yeah. I think, I mean, you can go down and watch tapings of shows and that, but I think this was still back in the day when you could walk down the street, you know, Rodeo Drive, and walk past someone.
Yeah, Jimmy Kahn. Yeah. He's just hanging out. He's over at Pinky's getting some hot dogs. And
we went to a farmer's market, and some dude's walking around, a tall guy with a tan. And I'm like, oh, look. I know that guy, and he was like some character actor that I'd seen on like Canon or something like that. Like you know how the character actors, they make their rounds. It's like, oh, he played a priest in Kolchak the Night Stalker, and on Canon he was a drug dealer or something. I don't know. You know, they just you just make the rounds.
But you recognize the face.
Yeah, like, you're an actor. Okay. You're working. Yeah. Right? And so you used to go down there and you'd see like these faces of people you'd see on the television. Yeah. And you'd be like, I don't know his name, but I do know his work, you know.
Yeah, so, he was the Love Boat. I remember.
Yeah. So, but I don't think it is that way now. I mean, nowadays you got YouTube. The biggest stars are on YouTube.
Go figure.
Who are like, you know, 17.
We're on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we're not live on YouTube, but we're hoping to change that. We're live on Facebook and Twitter, Periscope. Right now. Yeah. And I know people watch us on Facebook. I don't know how many people watch us on the Periscope.
I don't know.
So, and we can go live on YouTube, but we have to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Equipment-wise.
Yeah.
But it's in the works.
It's in the works.
As soon as we make income on this.
Right.
No. Friday, dude, we have like these things that go on the mic that will...
Yeah.
I can't help that still... Okay. For the last 2 hours, I've been sitting here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm still embarrassed about how the show started. Just like, it's so bad.
Well, you know.
I feel like editing it out. But then the whole show won't make sense, right?
Right. Keep it.
Anyway, Germans are messy eaters.
It is. Well, hey, listen, some of the funniest stuff is the idiosyncratic stuff, you know, where it's like, at the time, you're like, oh, God, I think it'll be good. And then you go home and you watch, you're like, hey, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Better than I thought.
Well, Jason, I think it's time to wrap it up. What do you say?
We be out.
We should wrap it up on time tonight. Tonight. Look at me.
That's right.
I'm like a mess. Do you have any parting final thoughts for this Wednesday?
Wow. Final thoughts. Just have a good rest of the week. Come back and see us on Friday. We'll be here.
Well, we'll be here a little later, too. Yeah. Go check out the Turning Left. It's going to be interesting.
I'm the world's worst marketer.
Yeah.
Hey, come back at noon and you can see me wax. If you want to see me make fun of Trump, tune in. Because it's going to be that. But to give a teaser, we're going to do a little more local flavor this time out.
Good.
Because of the horrific stuff that happened this last week. And what continues to happen, and
we got some stuff.
We got some stuff.
Yeah, So we'll get there. We got Wednesday. We can talk about all sorts of stuff there.
Oh yeah,
we got stuff. So
we got stuff.
Anyway, So everybody, all I can say is yes, please. All sorts of stuff. Oh look.
I
gotta take you because look, my Facebook is talking to me.
Oh, there you go.
Jeez.
Well, whenever you do your last word, I'm gonna do the dinger. We're gonna go out on a dinger. Okay.
I gotta kill this. We had some comments. What happened is, this is what happens if I try to go to the Facebook while I'm doing the show on air and the show, then we get the sound. Now we don't have the sound. So maybe we're a little thin on the staffing. Yes, I think so.
We need to address the personnel issue. We need to beef it up a little bit. So, hey, if you want to come and hang out with us 3 times a week and watch some awesome technology, get a hold of us.
All right. Okay, we're out of here for now, and we'll be back on the Turning Left channel on the Facebooks and everything a little bit later. So, everybody, stay safe. Go look at Covfefe. Have a good laugh. There's some really funny stuff there. Laugh. Listen to music. Listen to that Sgt. Pepper. Okay, and we'll see you on Friday.